A few weeks ago, guys, we decided we're going to follow Dan Pizzuto's quarterback rankings of the 33rd team. Deshaun Watson started at 29. Then he got bumped down to 31 after Dallas. And after week 2, these are the updated rankings from the 33rd team. Number 31 is Bo Nix. Number 30, Will Levis. 29, Malik Willis. 28, Andy Dalton. Deshaun moved up from 31 into 27 to show you a few guys in front of Deshaun. Deshaun there's 27, Gardner Minshew 26, Daniel Jones, Deshaun's opponent this week at 25, Justin Fields at 24, and rookie Jaden Daniels at 23. Caleb Williams is 22nd, just to give you guys that extra context. Fair, unfair, too small of a jump, too big of a jump. 4 spots for Deshaun Watson.
The fact that Caleb Williams is 5 ahead of Deshaun Watson is absolute garbage.
I can't even really comment on it. It's just.
You think it's okay?
No, I think it's so far outlandish that I can't give no energy to it.
Caleb Williams. Has anybody watched Caleb Williams this year?
Caleb Williams looked like he's playing JV football on a Sunday afternoon at Avon Lake. I don't know where that came from, bro.
I don't either. I don't get it. What are you talking
about? Like, that's
22?
And Daniel Jones? Like, we just talked to the dude. Now he could play well this game. We're not scoffing at Daniel Jones, but like this dude ain't played well in like 3 years or something. Like, what do you mean? This is crazy.
Where forget where Caleb Williams is. Is 27 good for you guys?
I'd probably have him a little higher,
I would too.
But not too much. I mean, it's only been 2 games. Coming into the season, you have him pretty low because he's coming off not playing well for a couple of years. He was awful in the first game.
But look where they had Caleb Williams, who never played at the end.
Yeah, I don't get that. I don't know. He hasn't played well so far. I mean, I'm not watching him every play like I'm watching Deshaun Watson. The stats are bad.
I watched
Caleb
his prime time game every snap.
Yeah,
that guy's confused. he doesn't know what way
which
is
not a shocker for a rookie.
No, I mean he's a rookie and and the learning curve is great, but wow.
Listen. If he was 23rd instead of 27th, I don't know that it matters.
It doesn't matter.
Deshaun Watson's got to play consistently well. It's something we have not seen from him. I think we all agreed he played, significantly better last game. We had different opinions on how much better. Now let's see if he can follow it up against a team that's, bad. So he should have a pretty good game this week.
He should play well the next 3 weeks. There's no excuse not to.
Yeah.
He should play.
Jay, do you have him higher than 27? Does it even matter to you?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's rankings, and he's in the range where he should be. I think that.
QBR wise, he's
29 QBR. So the big question is, regardless of the spot, he took a big jump week 1 to week 2. Do you guys think he take another jump week 2 to week 3?
Did he take a big jump? What did he go week 1 to week 2?
31 to 20.
Compared to what he was, and not in the rankings. He
went up 4 spots, right?
No, I don't mean the rankings. I'm just saying in terms of what we saw on the actual field.
Yeah,
he was not good against Dallas.
I'm not in that camp that he took a big jump.
Well, compared to Dallas,
I mean, he didn't throw a touchdown. He didn't throw a pick. But outside that first drive, he had 80 yards passing for 3.5 quarters.
Jay, I'm confused about this because G said yesterday that you and Dustin both said you'd take Deshaun over Tua and Jalen Hurts.
Yes.
I'm shocked.
Which I don't understand because even you're saying I don't think he played that much better.
What that is to me, that is more an indictment of 2 quarterbacks that I think were anointed way too early that I just don't think have the skill sets. I don't see them being able to play at the level Deshaun played at when he was in Houston. And I said, the principle of me saying that is I am holding tightly to the idea that eventually we're going to see that guy again. He's 29 years old. I watched Aaron Rodgers last night at 40 years old look amazing.
Right, but Aaron Rodgers...
I can't wash my mind from the idea that Deshaun Watson is washed. Tua, this is what I said on Tua, it's based on one thing. I don't think that guy's going to be in the league 12 months from now.
All right, well, that I understand.
So but I just don't.
But G said you had to take injuries. When he asked me about it, he said,
I said specifically, to me, with Tua, the injuries very much factor into my decision.
Deshaun Watson's missed more time than Tua has.
Tua's injury, though, is the kind that one more of those, and he is gone forever.
We said that last time.
Yeah, but listen, I'm stunned that he's taking this approach. I'm not leaving. You're talking about your long-term health here. Guys, we've all see it with our own eyes.
Sure.
We see his concussions look different than other guys. And I just don't bet on him long-term in this league. I can't do it.
That's fair. But if it weren't for that, would you take Tua?
If it weren't for that, that's a different conversation. Yeah. But that's saying if your grandma has wheels, she's a bike.
Well, I mean, again, Deshaun's had a lot of injuries too. I have given up hope on Deshaun ever being the guy he was in Houston.
I have not.
I have.
I'm in Bulls camp.
I think he can be still be a solid NFL quarterback, but I've given up hope on the Houston thing.
See, he's 29 though.
But it's 4 years since he played at that level.
I get that.
Yeah.
But we have seen in the NFL fortunes rise and fall. And I always bring up Baker, but Baker's the perfect guy to do this with. This guy's been reincarnated twice. He goes from being absolutely putrid, where you can't win a game with him, to all of a sudden he's one of the highest-rated quarterbacks in the NFL. His numbers right now look better than anyone.
I know, but that's 2 games. It's not enough of a sample size. I know it's 2 games, but you also
have to look back. I looked at some numbers from him going back to the last 9 games to last year.
Yeah.
So his last 11 games, his numbers are insane. So I can't.
He was never.
And people thought Baker was washed. So I can't get to the point where I say that about Deshaun yet. With each crazy bad performance, I'm closer to getting there than I was the week before.
I think there's a big difference between saying he's washed and saying he's never going to be a superstar again. Because I don't think he's washed. I just don't think he's ever going to be a superstar again.
To me, if he doesn't return to his form, it's a failure and it's a wash.
Now look, Sean King.
I can't have a middling quarterback.
Yeah.
We gave up too much, and we're paying him too much.
I get it, but it is what it is now.
I know, but for the Browns' sake, he's going to get a long leash. They're not going to disconnect him for 2 or 3 bad games.
Right. Now, Sean King said that he's more talented than 80% of the quarterbacks.
And he was talking about physical gifts, I think.
I mean that to me is meaningless. I'm sure I'm sure Ryan Leaf was a lot more talented than other guys. I'm sure Jamarcus Russell was a lot more physically gifted than other quarterbacks. I mean, I'm not saying Deshaun Watson's those guys. He's obviously not.
But but if you watch, you wouldn't see no signs of that. There wouldn't be signs.
I'm not saying he's washed.
I'm saying if you say 80%, that's 20% left.
Well, that's one opinion. That's his opinion.
That's one opinion.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's an educated opinion. The guy played quarterback, but I don't. And I'm not saying he's washed. I'm just saying I don't think he's going to be a superstar again. And that may be a disappointment, which it will be. But
if I had a pile of money and I said I've got to bet it on whether or not he will, I would say no. He won't.
Yeah.
However, because I'm a Browns fan, and because we're out of options, I'm not ready to say definitively. We've got a question in a minute. The question is 100%.
Yeah.
Are we 100% certain that Deshaun's going to be the best quarterback in the game Sunday? I think in the NFL, anybody that uses that number on a prediction hasn't been paying attention to the NFL.
Crazy. It's
you
crazy.
Can't say with all the certainty. So what I'm saying is, if gun to head, I don't think he's going to be that guy. But I'm not ready to give up that he can be.
That's fair. I mean, listen, I'm not going to say 100% he will never be that guy. I just think it's very unlikely. But here's what I do know. Tua and Jalen Hurts have been way better the last few years than Deshaun Watson.
But Jalen Hurts, I just don't like his passing downfield. I don't like his decision-making. He proved it again on
But again,
Monday
do we like
night.
Deshaun Watson's decision-making?
No, I don't. But I've seen it for a longer period of time when he was in Houston. Here's what I have a hard time with. And it was reiterated to me last night watching 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers. Guy's going to be 41 before the season ends.
Yeah.
I'm watching this guy going, he can still do it. He's still very, very good. Deshaun Watson is in his 20s. Now, late 20s, but he's in his 20s. Is it possible that at 29, some guys wash out like that, and they do it in a hurry. And I mentioned on Wednesday, I gave some examples of guys recently that have done that, and they all kind of favor his playing style. But I just can't yet.
He's gonna, if you watch the first game, you're like, wow, that was horrible. But if you go back and watch the second game against the Jaguars, I done watched every throw twice, and to be truthful, when you look at the PFF scores, he has a 77 grade when it comes to passing. When you watch it, he gets out of the pocket. When you watch it, the balls that he was missing against the Cowboys, he's hitting against the Jaguars. The goal of this thing is not to have Deshaun Watson be the greatest quarterback in the world in week 3. All he needs to do is continue to build on what he did well and minimize the things that he didn't do well. So now we can see downfield throws. I like the fact that you're more accurate on the underneath stuff. Now we want to see some down the field shots, and we want to see you get the ball and do some chunk plays. The accuracy was better. I thought the pocket awareness and escapability was on full display. So look, 186 ain't nothing to write home about, but the consistent improvement is what the Browns want to stack on. And I think this week he'll be better than he was last week. And I discourage people to fight the urge to say this, because we can't have it both ways. If Deshaun Watson plays well against the Giants, I don't want to hear the Giants suck. You only play who is on your schedule, because if he was terrible, we'd say he is terrible. And it was garbage and he's not good enough. Well, but I'm not tempering no results. Either he's going to be good or he's going to be bad.
And that goes both ways.
It goes both ways.
If he plays horrible,
he going to get that.
Then the fact that the Giants suck very much will be brought up. You know, these were his numbers against a team that is not good.
We week to week. If he comes out and balls, you got to just say he got better.